evening, Paul and classmates. This presentation will focus on default superannuation funds and the features of their investment options. In particular, asset allocation policy, fee structure, returns, active versus passive management, and differences in fund types. In Australia, an ageing population and its financial burden on both government, retirement policy and funding is a growing phenomenon. Changes have been implemented through MySuper. However, its effectiveness in addressing investment, longevity and sequencing risk needs analysis. Kahneman and Tversky argue the prevalence of default option bias, which has resulted in asset allocation of generally 70 to 80% growth assets and 20 to 30% defensive, in the view that one size fits all. This suggests the need for life cycle as opposed to single strategy balanced investments. MySuper has introduced life cycle options, but although it addresses sequencing risk, it also reduces expected return as exposure to growth assets is decreased on an asset-weighted basis over the life cycle. Furthermore, MySuper regulations include only the accumulation stage. Table 1 outlines the percentage invested in life cycle products, with the largest proportion being in retail sector funds. The negative effect on returns in retail funds is evident in Table 13 through the introduction of life cycle products, decreased fees through passive management, and limited alternative asset exposure. The average rate of return in the retail sector is the lowest at 4.9% compared to industry and public sector funds. A Chantwest report advocates that alternative asset classes benefit members through added diversification, which industry funds have embraced and retail funds disregarded. Average fees in basis points are shown in both Table and Figure 4, noting that actively managed retail products charge an average headline fee of $131. As such, investors would expect increased expenses to produce superior investment returns from active management. However, this is not the case. MySuper regulations are to some extent responsible, as they allow differences in admin fees but require investment fees to be equal across members. Thus, admin fees represent the pricing differential, where on average higher expense ratios result in lower rates of return. The argument remains that in the debate of active versus passive strategies, passive management prevails, as studies suggest that the average active manager does not produce alpha after fees. An analysis of returns volatility and expenses shows that higher fees charged by investment managers do not necessarily translate into higher fees. In Australia, default funds show a negative relationship exists between management funds, fees and risk-adjusted returns, with retail superannuation funds underperforming the ASX 100 and 200 accumulation indices by 50 and 93 basis points per annum, respectively. This is also due to economies of scale in industry funds due to large member and asset bases. Conclusively, for investors and policymakers, the implications are the need for change in member engagement, investment methodology, product design, and the presence of legislative auto-reweighting of investments. Thank you.